Hi Virgo, welcome to your December 2019 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me or a personal year ahead reading, you can do so on the website address below. If you haven't got your seat yet, you can get your seat on the winter solstice session and the link in the description box below. And I've created a 2020 quarter calendar. Information about the astrology of the full moon, the new moon for the first 3 months of the year, the bigs come in Saturn, Pluto in conjunction, and also a daily tarot card pull. So if you want to get all of that, you can do so on the link in the description box below. I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, interesting to note that it is not just the end of the year, it is the end of the decade. We are coming out of the noughties and the teens and heading into the 20s. Can you believe it? So, okay, you've had a card jump out for your actions and interactions with the world at large. You've got the Seven of Swords, right? This is probably my least favourite card in the deck. Everybody knows that, just because of what it represents. Now, the fact that this falls in your actions and interactions with the world at large, the thing that comes to mind first and foremost is this month, my dear Virgos, do not sell yourself short. Whatever it is that you are offering, whatever it is that you do, if you've been afraid to put up your prices, if you have been telling yourself that what you do only has a certain price bracket, if you have been buying into the idea that you've reached the limit or the ceiling of something, this is telling you that is a damn lie, right? This is where you're basically, you're deceiving yourself to believe something this month that isn't true. And so the fact that it's come up is actually kind of a blessing in disguise, because it means that you can work on this thought form. Whatever it is that you're telling yourself in the mind about what is and isn't possible, this is basically saying that somewhere you are lying to yourself. This could be about many things, right? Because it comes through the guise of your actions and interactions with the world at large. It could be maybe that you have a certain piece of information or knowledge, but you refuse to believe it. This could be about somebody else, but could also be about, like I said, whatever your personal limits or understanding of what those limits are. This is a month for you to really check in with telling yourself the truth and allowing yourself to believe what in your heart you know is true, but in your mind you're convincing yourself otherwise. It kind of reminds me, you know, that there's that meme of a guy sleeping who's half red, and then you can see a woman in the background painting him, a flesh color. And it's kind of like that. If there is something or someone in your midst that you know is a certain way, don't try to make excuses for them this month, right? You need to hold people accountable, because otherwise you then become complicit in whatever it is that's holding you back, or actively lying to you, right? That's probably the best and easiest way I can put it. Your money and materials this month looks good, right? So you've got the Temperance card. This is about you finding a balance. So this could be to do with your finances. For those of you that are partnered, it could mean that you are having to look at where the money is actually going this month. It does mean that you might be looking to rebudget. It does mean that you might be looking to do something different when it comes to your finances, because the Temperance card sees you balancing things out, but it's the process of alchemy, right? Of turning what you have into more, or into a higher state of what it is. And because this falls in your money and materials sector, it really does suggest that this month you'll be looking at where the money is going, where the resources are actually being used, what is being done with them, and how you can make things better. There's a bit of an overhaul going on in your finances this month. Money and materials can also represent your health. So when it comes to your health, this is about you finding healing. This is about you finding ways to truly heal, right down to the root of the problem, rather than just putting a plaster on it, which is a brilliant energy. The fact that you've got these two cards together it does feel for me like this month you will be spotting something that you're going to have to speak about. You're not going to have the luxury of just kind of explaining it away. It's going to become so blatant at some point that you will just have to address it and to deal with it. I'm sorry to give you a heavy message around the holidays, or in the month of the holidays, but it's better that you see this, because there is a chance for you to truly heal whatever the problem is. All right. So your communications with the world at large is, you got the Knight of Swords. So Christmas time, Kwanzaa time, Yule time, Hanukkah time, whatever it is that you celebrate, if it's one of those or if it's none of those, around this third week of December, you could really be feeling a little bit more intense than you would like. And it may very well be because you're wanting to have certain conversations and it's just kind of being ignored by a different party or by a third party. Your communications, because this is a card of fast communication and sometimes even aggressive communication. I'm sorry to say, my dear Virgos, but December looks like it is going to have some challenges to it. Now, the fact that you know all of this, that it's coming up for you here in this reading, means that you can put things in place as you're watching it. So you can say to yourself, right, when that comes up, I know what to do. This Seven of Swords, I get the feeling that you already have an inkling of what this is. And if you can start putting things in place now to alleviate or to even eliminate whatever that challenge is, you don't have to carry it into the month ahead, right? The other thing, it does look like there's going to be a lot of communication this month. Sometimes the holiday season is that time where things get intense because everybody seems to have a lot to say. Sometimes because they've had too much to drink, sometimes just because, everybody's together and it gets a bit tense or a bit fractious. I will say this to a lot of you. If you are already having feelings of anxiety about inviting certain people, and this goes, a lot of people are probably going to complain about this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. If you're having anxiety about interacting with or inviting certain people, retract the offer. It would be better to deal with that little bit of uncomfort of people saying, oh, I'm really disappointed or whatever, than waiting, having it all turn up and then it all just kind of exploding. Right? It would be, I've done it so many times with people like, oh, I'm really disappointed or whatever. And it's like, okay, you know what? I know what that was probably going to entail. I'm not here for it. I'm not going to do it to myself. Change your plans. You are not a robot. You're not a slave. You don't have to, whatever plans have been made can be unmade. Sometimes it really is the best course of action for us. So just keep that in mind, all right? Personal relationships, you have the Five of Wands. I mean, yeah, it could be really loud. It could be really, at some points, maybe even some people behaving in an obnoxious manner. Virgos, it looks like you're really having a challenge this month. I'm really sorry to be the bearer of not great news, but you guys know me. I never shy away from the difficult stuff. If something challenging or difficult comes up, I believe that when you know about it, you can put things in place. Five of Wands is a lot of people talking at any one time. It can be one-upmanship, here as well in your personal relationships. If you're already uneasy about an invite that you've made or has been made to you and you have accepted, now is your time. Right here from the offset is that moment for you to say, you know what, I'm going to change track. I'm going to change direction now before it even becomes a thing later on. All right. And it's interesting because I kind of get the feeling that you guys have had something already is in your midst and it's already causing you anxiety and frustration. And there's a part of you that's like, oh, I'm not looking forward to this. With these cards, my biggest piece of advice to you that I could give is change course now so that you don't have to deal with it later. All right. Your first card out is the Fool card, right? Interesting. Very interesting. It could be some new piece of information. It could be a new realization that comes to you where you're holding yourself back or where you're limiting yourself. It could be that there's somebody in your partner's family that you kind of always bite your tongue around, and this month you're like, do you know what? screw that, I'm not doing it. I'm not going. I don't want to have this experience. I refuse to do it anymore. This could see you being really very open, really very honest about how you feel. You might find a new clarity, and you might really be open to understanding finally where it is that you limit yourself, or where it is that you allow people to not pull the wool over your eyes, but where you look the other way. All right? Where you kind of try to explain something about somebody away. Your second week of the month, you've got the Justice card underneath the Temperance card. Interesting that we talked about balance when it comes to money, materials and finances. This could be a month where you're looking at the budget, where you're looking at the paperwork. For some of you, if you're looking to refinance, interestingly enough, that is the only good news that I do have for you, that this will be a time where it's good for you to do. I kind of feel like it will be a good time, it will be a good thing to do before January. So it's almost kind of like getting it in now rather than starting, having to do it in the new year. Now, my advice to you on that front is, if you go for that, whether it's a loan, whether it's a mortgage, whatever it is, I can't give you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I can give you the energy. And the energy says, whatever you do about refinancing here in December, lock in your interest rate, right? Unless they're offering you a fixed sum, fixed rate, fixed payment schedule, whatever it is, I don't know, right? As long as it is fixed, you can accept. If they tell you it's variable or subject to change, it's a no-go. Right, that's the information that I have to give you. When it comes to your physical health, this could be you really deciding to invest in that. This could be a month where you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to do this. This is what feels right to me at the moment. Your third week of the month, you got the Sun card. So it's not all going to be bad. And it does suggest as well, actually, for a select few of you, if you end up having to take this invite or go to this thing or have these people come, it kind of says that whatever you do say will be well received by everybody, right? The Sun card gives you kind of a free pass and says that whatever you say to someone, whatever you blurt out, whatever you kind of hit them with, it may be that everybody else in the vicinity kind of goes, you know what, we can't really fault them because they're speaking the truth. Do you know what I mean? So it's like whatever you do say will be received well. It might be though, and it feels like it is you that's kind of saying that harsh thing, or it's kind of like you're the one that points out the thing that everybody's thinking but nobody dares to say, and you're going to be the one that's like, well, it may be for a very select few of you that this is something that is said to you that you need to hear, and it's the fact that it comes through the Sun card as well means that you'll be able to take this on board as an observation, right? As an observation about something that you might have been ignoring. And that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing because it allows you to change it. It allows you to change the energy of that. All right. And then finally, your fourth week of the month, as you're heading into the new year, what do you need to know? You need to know the universe, right? Beautiful. This is the time of a fresh start, a time of a fresh beginning for all of us as we head into the 20s. You've got the World card or the Universe card in this deck right next to the Sun. Even as challenging as this month can be, it really is setting you up for the best that you can have in the year that follows. And I know that sounds really challenging, right? Because I know a lot of you are probably thinking like, really, Raf, with all the messages that you've given us, but there is a new start. There is a fresh start here for you. It just requires you to be brave and bold enough to say what needs to be said, to hear what needs to be heard, and ultimately to step forward on the path that you know is going to be the right one for you. There are challenges here this month. I'm not going to sit here and bullcrap you, right? There are challenges, but what I love more than anything about this month for you is actually it clears the air. This is kind of like taking the plug out, right? So you can clear the sink of whatever gunk and all the rest of it is out. And then when you run the water afresh, it's fresh, and it's also clean water going into a clean space rather than just kind of like, oh, I'm putting clean water in, but all I can see is dirt. It's a grand clearing for you. It's not going to be easy, I have to say that, but it will definitely have its worth. And then you get the Tree of Life. as your key to the month. This is about divine intervention and assistance. It's all there for you. Your Sun card, your World card, your Tree of Life card, it's all there for you, but you are going to have to be brave this month to do what needs to be done and to say what needs to be said. And yes, for the majority of you, it really is about that. You know, you're going to have to go and tread where angels fear, so to speak. So a very interesting month for you guys for sure. Listen, even with these challenges, it can be a great month for you. You have cards there that are redeeming factors to all of this. All right. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic December. Have an amazing holiday season. Whatever it brings you, you can get through and you can transcend it. Happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Yule for those of you that celebrate, you special ones. Love you dearly. But all of you, I love you dearly. I wish you all of the best. And remember, providing you're willing to be brave and do what needs to be done and say what needs to be said, you'll see a really fast turnaround. As tough and challenging as it might be at certain points, you could see a really fast turnaround. So keep that in mind, all right? I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Go, be awesome, take care, and I'll see you in the new year.